We all want to improve our English listening and speaking. But in real life, it's so hard to find the right person, the right time, and the right place for practicing. Well, that's exactly why I'm making today's video. Welcome back to English is Easy. I'm your host, Connor. Guys, today, let's have an English chat. Yeah, let's talk in English about hobbies. Here's the plan. First, listen to the questions that I've prepared for today. All of the questions have been taken from real past IELTS exams. Then, hear my response to the questions. I will give you a demonstration of how a native speaker would answer these questions. Finally, it will be your turn to talk. Guys, by doing this, we are going to improve our English listening and speaking skills the natural way, plus learn some new vocabulary as we go along. If you're ready to go, click like on this video and let's jump in. Our first question for today is, what is your favorite hobby? Yeah, your favorite pastime, your favorite thing to do for fun. I'll go first. I'm going to try to use this expression, time flies, meaning time passes quickly. In my response, here I go. When I was a little kid, I loved building models. Yeah, that was my favorite hobby, and time would really fly as I did so. Time would pass so quickly. I loved building these Japanese models. There's a kind of model called a Gundam model, and I was so into it as a kid. So into it. I was really interested in it. As an adult, I still like building models, but now things are a little different. My wife, she works at Lego. Yeah, the toy company Lego. So every now and then, she gets a free set of Legos to bring home. When she does so, I love to build them. Yeah, I have a Legend of Zelda Lego set. I have a car Lego set, a Porsche. I have all sorts of different Lego sets. So that's my favorite hobby, and time still flies when I build those sets. All right, guys, that was my response. That was my demonstration of how to respond to this question. Now it's your turn. If you don't know how to answer this question, you can mention your hobby, say what it is, why you enjoy it. Yeah, give some reasons for why you love doing this thing so much. Maybe talk about how often you do it. Yeah, the frequency of doing it. Do you do it every day, once a week? How often do you get a chance to do this hobby of yours? If you want an extra challenge, you can try to use time flies, meaning that time is passing quickly when you are doing something, right? So here's an example. Reading is my favorite hobby because it's so relaxing, and time flies when I get into a good book. Yeah, sometimes when we are really caught up in the moment, caught up in the process of doing one of our hobbies, time seems to go so fast. So that's how we can use this expression. I'm going to give you 1 minute of time. Really try and push yourself to talk all the way through that minute. Just fill the whole thing up. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just keep going. All right, go ahead. Moving on to question number 2. How do you usually spend your weekends? In other words, what do you usually do on the weekend? I'm going to go first, and I'm going to try to use this expression, recharge your batteries. Basically, it means to rest and regain energy. Maybe you've had a busy week, a really stressful work week, and you want to find a way to rest and regain energy on the weekend. You want to find a way to recharge your batteries. All right, here's my minute. Here I go. You know, I have kind of a weird situation with my work week because I only work on the weekends. Yeah, I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, teaching English in person, and then Monday through Thursday, I do YouTube. Yeah, I work online. So my schedule is the reverse of most people's schedule, right? So that being said, it's true that I never really feel like I have a chance to recharge my batteries. I don't really have a day off, right? I'm always working. That being said, if I do have a free day, something I really like to do is play video games. There's a game I've been playing for, oh man, almost 20 years called World of Warcraft, and I love to play this game. I love to go to the gym. Yeah, that's how I recharge my batteries. That was my response. Now it's your turn. Take that minute, talk about what you typically do on weekends, and maybe why it's your favorite way to relax. Here's one more example of recharge your batteries. I like going for long walks on weekends because it helps me recharge my batteries. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to talk. Try to push all the way through. Go for it. Question number 3 for us to talk about and discuss today is, do you prefer indoor or outdoor activities, right? So what we're going to talk about is sharing our preference. What do you prefer? If you had a choice in the matter, what would you choose, right? So do you like to do stuff indoors or outdoors? Talk about why. Give an example of an activity that you enjoy. I'm going to go first. Here's my minute, and I'm going to try and use a breath of fresh air, meaning something refreshing or new, in my minute. All right, here I go. You know, before I met my wife, I was really an indoor person. I think to a fault, kind of in a bad way. I was an indoor person, right? And man, if I wasn't working, I would really spend all of my time inside, binge watching TV shows, binge watching Netflix, playing video games. I was really a homebody, meaning that I spent most of my time by myself at home in my house, right? So meeting my wife was really a breath of fresh air. It was something really refreshing and new for me because she is an outdoor person, and she kind of pulled me out of my comfort zone, pushed me out into the world, and we started to try lots of new things together. That was my response. Now it's your turn. Answer this question. Do you prefer indoor or outdoor activities? and try to use a breath of fresh air somewhere in your response. Go ahead. Question number 4 for us today. Have you tried a new hobby recently? Yeah, maybe in the past couple weeks, the past couple months. We could even say this year. Have you taken up a new hobby? Or we could say, have you picked up a new hobby? Have you started a new hobby? Yeah, tried something new, right? So talk about the hobby, what inspired you to try it, how you felt about it, right? And if you haven't picked up a new hobby, maybe you can talk about why you haven't picked up a new hobby, right? I'm going to try and use step out of your comfort zone, meaning to try something new or challenging in my 1 minute response. Here I go. As I mentioned previously, as I was talking about earlier, I'm not the kind of person to step out of my comfort zone too often. Yes, I will do it occasionally, but, typically I like sticking to my routines. I like doing the same old thing that I always do, whether it's playing video games or reading books or, this or that. I like my routines and I'm not really big on trying new things. Now, that being said, my wife is always trying new things, and recently, she convinced me to try gardening with her. So we got some potted plants, we got some green onion and some mint and some arugula, and we are growing them. Yeah, we are giving them water every day, and that's something that I've tried recently, and I've stepped out of my comfort zone a bit. Okay, guys, that was my minute. Now it's your minute to talk. Go ahead, tell me about, have you tried a new hobby recently? Have you tried something new? And if you can, try to use this expression, step out of your comfort zone. Go for it. You guys are doing fantastic. Question number 5. Do you think hobbies are important for children? Okay, so we're going to share our opinion, we're going to explain our opinion, and we're going to give some examples of hobbies that might benefit kids. In other words, what are some hobbies that would be good for kids to try? Maybe they are educational. Maybe they can help kids develop physically. Stuff like this. And I want you to try and use build character in your response. Ooh, I love this expression. If something builds character, then that means it develops important life skills or values. Here's an example. Hobbies help kids build character by teaching them patience and creativity. Yeah, so if something is educational, if it helps you grow, if it helps you become more mature, right, then we can say that it builds character. Absolutely. I think that hobbies are not just important for kids, but critically important for kids. I think trying new things in general, is great for people, not just young people, but middle aged people and older people as well, elderly people, right? I think that no matter where you are at in life, being willing to put yourself out there, step out of your comfort zone, and try new things, that is such an important part of life. I think, there's this expression in English, get busy living or get busy dying. And I think it's really, really important. So if you can get your kids signed up for sports or art classes, or just ask them about their interests, I think any of these things will build character and help them develop. That was my response. Now it's your turn, guys. Do you think hobbies are important for children? Push yourself through that minute. Try to use build character somewhere in your response. Go for it. Question number 6. Is there a hobby you've always wanted to try but haven't tried yet? Right? So mention the hobby, why you're interested in it, and maybe any challenges that have stopped you from trying it. Yeah, why haven't you tried it? Is there something that is stopping you from trying it? Now, a really fantastic expression to use here would be something is on your bucket list. If something's on your bucket list, that means it's something you want to do or achieve in your life. For example, learning to surf is on my bucket list because it looks so exciting. So if there's something you want to do before you die, but you haven't had a chance to do it yet, we can say it's on your bucket list. I am a pretty fortunate guy, a pretty lucky guy, in the sense that I have done a lot. I'm 30 years old. I feel that I have done a lot of traveling, for example. In my 20s, I did a lot of traveling here in Asia. I went to China. I went to Japan and Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines. I went all over, India, Sri Lanka. I did a lot of traveling. I wrote books. I published children's books. Now I'm making YouTube videos. I've really seen a lot in my 30 years, and I've tried a lot of different things. However, there are still plenty of things left to do on my bucket list, and one of them is skydiving. Yeah, I think at some point this is something I want to try, even though it's terrifying. I would say that skydiving is on my bucket list. That was my minute. Now it's your turn. Tell me, is there a hobby you've always wanted to try? Something that is on your bucket list? Take your minute and push through. Go ahead. Here's an interesting question. Number 7, do you prefer doing hobbies alone or with others? So share your preference, what you prefer, talk about why you feel that way, and of course, give examples. Okay, so if you are more of a loner when it comes to hobbies, a loner, you like to do things alone, give an example of a hobby that fits you doing it alone. If you prefer to do things with friends or other people, then give an example of that kind of hobby. For an extra challenge, you can try and use the best of both worlds, a really fantastic expression, meaning enjoying two different things at once. Another example might be that I love to paint, and I'm really passionate about painting, but I also want to spend more time with my wife, and it feels like I'm struggling to do both of these things. Well, maybe I sign us up for a couples painting class. That really feels like the best of both worlds because I get to paint, which I love to do, and I get to spend time with my wife as well. A similar expression might be two birds, one stone. Now, I definitely do love spending time with my friends. We will go out and have some beers, go hang out and catch up and talk, right? But unfortunately, a lot of the hobbies that I'm interested in do not interest them. Yeah, they're more into sports, they're more into poker, they're more into, different TV shows that I like. And so there's not a lot of crossover as far as our interests go, as far as our hobbies go. We mostly just sit around and drink beer and talk about our week, right? So as far as my hobbies go, I would say that I'm more of a loner. Yeah, when I play video games, when I'm writing my stories, these are things I like to do alone. Now, if I could find a video game club where people meet up and game together, then that would definitely be the best of both worlds. All right, that was my response. Now it's your turn. Do you prefer doing hobbies alone or with others? Let me know your thoughts and try to use the best of both worlds in your response. Go for it. Question number 8, how do you make time for your hobbies? Yeah, make time. Most of us are busy adults with lots of responsibilities, and some of us have children, we have work, we have pets to look after and take care of. So, in this busy lifestyle, how do you make time for your hobbies? How do you create a space for them in your life? You can talk about how you fit hobbies into your busy schedule. Schedule would be a great word to use here, and I love this. Talk about why it's important to make a space for your hobbies. What will happen if you don't have some time to relax and enjoy yourself, right? A fantastic expression to use here is make it a priority, to treat something as being very important. For example, I make it a priority to set aside an hour every evening for yoga. It helps me stay balanced. Okay, so for this person, they make yoga a priority. They treat yoga as being something very important, and they make sure to create a space for it in their life, right? There is no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind that hobbies are so, so important, and prioritizing hobbies, making them a priority in your life, is so critically necessary, so critically important. That's because if you don't make time for hobbies, if you don't make time and create a space for the things you are passionate about in your life, you will burn out. Quite simply, you will burn out if you are pushing yourself too hard, pushing your limits too far, working all the time, stressed out all the time. You are going to burn out. That is not sustainable. It's not sustainable, right? You can't keep doing it forever. So, not only to have fun, but also for your mental health, making time for hobbies is so important. That was my response. Now it's your turn. Push yourself, take that minute, and try to make it a priority somewhere in your response. Go ahead. Question number 9. What's the most unusual hobby you've heard of? Yeah, maybe one of your friends has a hobby that's very strange, very bizarre, very unusual, very seldom seen, right? Not a lot of people do it. So describe the hobby, talk about where you learned about it, and what makes it unique. What makes it unusual? What makes it special? What makes it different, right? A fantastic expression to use here is one of a kind. If something's one of a kind, then it's completely unique or special. Here's an example. I once met someone who collected vintage typewriters. It's such a one of a kind hobby, meaning that this interest, this hobby of collecting vintage typewriters, vintage means old, right? Maybe a collector's item. This is really special. It's really different. It's really unusual. It's very unique. It's one of a kind. Now, I have to be honest. Me and my friend group, we don't really have any one of a kind hobbies. We don't really do anything that's that special or different or unique or unusual. As I was talking about earlier, me personally, I like to play video games and read books, and I think that's pretty typical. I think that's pretty normal. A lot of my friends, they watch sports on TV, they play poker. When we get together, we will drink beer and talk about the week. So none of this seems that unusual. None of this seems that strange. I'm really curious about what you guys have to say. Maybe you can leave me a comment down in the comment section talking about a friend or family member with a truly one of a kind hobby, because now I'm curious. All right, that was my response. Now it's your turn. Go for it. Okay, my friends, here we are at question number 10, the final question for today's video. Before we get into this, I would like to ask you a quick favor. If you're still watching, make sure you click that like button and maybe leave me a comment saying more like this if you want me to make more of this style, this kind of video. My channel is still pretty small, and any support you guys give me goes a very long way, believe me. So thank you guys for all of your support, and let's tackle this final question. This is a really deep question. Yeah, there's a lot of depth to this question. How has your free time changed over the years? Your free time, the time that is available to you for relaxation and pursuing your interests, following your passions, right? So talk about how your hobbies or interests have evolved. How have they changed, and why have they changed? Maybe you don't have as much time as you used to. Maybe you have more time than you used to. A really wonderful expression to use here is grow out of it. If you grow out of something, then you lose interest in that thing as you get older, as you change, as you mature. When I was younger, I loved collecting action figures, but I grew out of it as I got older. For me personally, I know that the way I spend my free time has changed dramatically over the years. I think I've grown up a lot. I think I've grown out of my old habits quite a bit. You know, when I was in my early 20s, I would spend a lot of time gaming. I would wake up in the morning, drink my coffee, play video games all day if it was my day off. And nowadays, that feels like kind of a waste of time. Any kind of time off from work is precious to me. I want to use that time to advance my career and specifically to grow my YouTube channel. Yeah, so typically nowadays, if I have some time off from work, I work on my YouTube channel, I make videos, I still try to find some time for rest and relaxation, R&R as well, but I think I'm a bit more career focused these days. This is a tough question to answer, guys, but try your best. Take that minute, talk all the way through. Tell me about how your free time has changed over the years, and if you can, try to use grow out of it. Grow out of something as an expression. Go ahead. I would like to end this video with a huge thanks to my channel members, the people who have clicked the join button here on YouTube, or the people who have gone to my Patreon and become a member there. My members make my work possible. I could not do what I do without my members. So thank you guys so much. And if you are not a member, you should consider becoming one. By becoming a member, you get PDFs for all of my videos. You get hours and hours of bonus videos. In fact, I just put out a brand new 40-minute long bonus video last week. Sometimes you also get early access to videos. You support me as well. And most importantly, by becoming a member, you are making an investment in yourself as an English speaker, an investment in your future as an English speaker. So join today. It's only the price of a cup of coffee. And if you are in the middle of a study session, keep going. I'm going to put another one of my videos up on the screen. Go click on it and I'll meet you there.